Hello everyone, today we're going to be going over how to create a drop-down menu using Excel. There's a lot of different ways that you can create a drop-down menu, and one may be more appropriate than another. Today we're going to be going over three different methods. The drop-down menu is a great feature that allows you to limit the different choices that you want a person to be able to choose from. So let's jump into our methods. So the very first method is, let's say that you only had a few choices, okay? And you just, you don't want, you're not trying to create a big list. You're just doing a few different items. We can actually put this selection or the choices right into it. So let me show you how to do this. Let's pull up Excel. And let's say that we wanted to put a drop-down menu right in this cell right here, C3. What we can do is go up to data validation, choose data validation, and we have three different boxes up here at the very top. We have settings, input message, and error alert. We're gonna go on the settings, go down in the drop-down menu to list, and in the source, this is where we can actually just put in our choices. This is also referred to as hard coding it because you're putting it right into the box or the instructions. So let's say that you wanted to know like an importance level. Okay, so high, medium, and low. We can actually just type that in right in the box. High. We're going to separate it with a comma. Now we're not going to put a space after it because if you put a space, it's actually going to put in a space in the selection. So we're not going to put in a space. Let's put in medium, comma, low. And we're going to click OK. And that creates our first drop-down menu, high, medium, low. Now, one thing about a drop-down menu is since we have the cell highlighted, you can see the little arrow in the very bottom right. But let's say that we didn't have that cell highlighted, we had another cell. Well, you wouldn't know that cell C3 actually has a drop-down menu because it looks like all the other cells. That's why it's always a good idea to change it somehow. So for example, in this one, I'm going to change that color because we want that cell to be segregated and know, hey, this is an input cell. This cell is different than all the other ones. You can also put in like a title right above it or some. Later on in the video, we'll talk about how to put in instructions, but we want to make it stand out from the rest. So that's our first method, is just inserting the selection choices. Let's jump over to our next method. Our next method is highlighting the selection choices from a group. So for example, if you had a column or a list of items that you wanted to make a drop-down menu from. So let's pull Excel back up again. And let's say that we wanted to create a list. And just for this example, I'm going to put in a bunch of colors. So let's put in white, yellow, green, orange, blue, brown, and black. Okay, so we have our list. Now let's say that we wanted to do a drop-down menu in this cell F3. We're going to go back up to data validation, go to data validation, and in our box, we're going to go down to list. Now next to source, instead of actually just typing in the source or typing in the selection, especially if you have a big long list, if you had, I don't know, maybe 20 different choices and you didn't want to have to sit there and type them all in, what we can do is click on the arrow to the right of it. It's going to take us back to our worksheet. We're going to go over to that group, select it. We can left click and drag and highlight that list that we have. And you can see it's putting it in the reference area. Okay, now when we're done, we can go back up here. We're going to click on the arrow to the right of it again. It takes us back to the data validation box, and we're going to click OK. And that creates our drop-down menu. You can see the choices that we have are the same ones from our list. I'm going to go back up here and change the color again, just like we did on the last one, to know hey, this cell is different. This is going to be an input cell. This is our drop-down menu. Now, the nice thing about this is if you ever wanted to do any adjustments. So let's say, for example, instead of brown, you wanted to change it to purple. If you change it in the cell, if you go back in the drop-down menu, you can see that it changed it in our drop-down menu. So that's one of the nice things. If you have a big selection or if you want to make adjustments easy, referencing a group actually is a nice little feature. So that's our second method. Let's jump to our last method, the third choice. And the third choice is inserting a name array. Okay, we're gonna create a name array for the dropdown. So let's jump back to Excel, and a name array is great if you have a bunch of different tabs at the bottom, a bunch of different worksheets. Let's say that you have a workbook, and a workbook is all of it, the entire file, and you're working on different sheets, and you want to create a drop-down menu in multiple worksheets, but you don't want to have to go back and reference another sheet. It kind of makes it kind of cumbersome. So doing a name array is nice because you don't have to go back to other worksheets over and over again. Now, what that means, let's come up here to the very first one. Okay, so if you click on the E3, where we have white, you see in the very top left has a cell reference. What we can do, we can highlight the choice that we want or the selection choices, and we're going to go back up here where the cell is in the top left, and we're going to rename that. We're going to call this colors. Okay. So now, let's say that we wanted to create a drop-down menu over here in H3, and we could do it in any worksheet or different tab that we wanted to, but just for this example, we're going to go to H3. We're going to go up here to data validation. We're going to go down to lists, and in the source, we're just going to do, you know what, this is going to be equals to colors. Our name array, that's what we called it, and we could have called it anything we wanted to. Okay, let's click OK, and you can see that in our drop-down menu, it's the same that we had that we created that name for. And let's go back up here at the very top again, and we're gonna change the color. Now the color is nice because we have, again, separating it from the rest of the cells. We have 3 different methods, and we can choose which method that we wanted to use. Now, we want to go over a couple of last items, which is creating instructions for the person that does the drop-down menu. So for example, let's go back up here to data validation again. And we have our input message and our error alert. An input message would be giving instructions to the person that you want to have choose the item in the dropdown. So for example, on the title, I'm going to type in select a color. And in the input message, let's say, please select one of the following colors. And you could do whatever it is. If you work for a business and if, let's say that the colors represented different departments, you could do that. But whatever it is that you want to express to the person, I'm going to click on OK. And you can see the message that's coming up. You can see select a color, please select one of the following colors. Okay, so that's just an added little feature. You don't have to have it as a drop-down or part of the drop-down menu. It just gives a little bit more instructions to the person that is going to be selecting. Let's go back up here and show you the last one, which is under data validation. It's our error alert. Now the error alert is, let's say that you want a person to select a color and they're doing something completely off in left field. They're doing something completely different and you want to let them know, hey, that's not, what you're supposed to do. You can either do the stop, you can do a warning, information. Let's do the stop. And under title, I'm going to put in, you did not select a color. Under the error message, please try again. Okay, so now let's say that we have our choices and someone comes up here and wants to type something else in. Let's say they want to type in brown. It could be whatever color, or let's say they put in a number or whatever it is. When they click on enter, you can see in the drop-down menu or in the error message that comes up, it says, you did not select a color. Please try again. So this is a great way to restrict what you want the person to be able to do. Okay, you have the instructions, you have the error message if they don't follow it. We have the different types of drop-down menus that you can do depending on which one you like. Hopefully, I would suggest playing around with it, see what you think, and hopefully you like the video. Thank you.